Kobe Bryant's advice on improving your life. It's so sad as I say it. Kobe Bryant's advice on improving your life, when in January 2020 he passed away suddenly after a horrible helicopter smash in which his daughter and several other people were killed, perhaps instantly. Kobe Bryant was a great guy though, and he wasn't just a talented or a super talented basketballer. He was more than that. I said, he was a father. He was obviously a friend, because it was with friends that he passed away with at the tender age of 41. Fine, athletic man. A man who had so much to give. A man who had so much in his life already, but yet a guy who passed away. But thankfully, he has left fragments of wisdom and life advice for you that I'm just going to give to you. So, at 41 years of age, he was the best in the league of the basketball in the American area for what he did. But yet, he was also a very rich man. He deserved to be a rich man. He was in a professional basketball league and he had perfected the skills and the abilities that he had naturally. He would give advice to himself, it was said, once upon a time, if you look back on his life. And this once upon a time was not far off when he actually passed at 41 years of age. And looking back on it, he was going to give himself advice that if he, knowing the ability he had, knowing the opportunities that he was about to get and receive, he himself at 17 years of age, he was going to give himself advice. And isn't it wonderful if you're 17 years of age to be able to have that wisdom of Kobe Bryant, who had that 20-year career with the Los Angeles Lakers and could actually, on his 41st birthday, the last year of his living life on this world, could reflect back on being 17 years of age and being in high school. After being worth $3.5 million, which made him virtually a millionaire, obviously, overnight when he came out of high school. And what he said about the Lakers, and what he said looking back on his life, telling himself as a 17-year-old, he said, quote unquote, when your Laker dream comes true tomorrow, you need to figure out a way to invest in the future of your family and friends. He wrote this, you see, in a letter that he sent to his younger self. He said, purely giving material things to your siblings and friends may appear to be the right decision. But later on, of course, after 17, it wasn't just 3.5 million, but he recorded 600. You what? Yeah, I am telling you, $680 million of a fortune. And this was over the course of his basketball career. And he said, quote unquote, the day will come when you realize that as much as you believed you were doing the right thing, that is giving those things to your family and friends to invest in their future, that the day will come when you realize that as much as you believed it, you were doing the right thing at that time, you're actually holding them back. Now that's very interesting. Now if you're 17 and obviously you have family around you, say siblings, they might be no more than 25. And if you give them hundreds of thousands of dollars, he's saying you could be actually holding them back. Certainly if they are a teenager, and you're a teenager and a famous teenager at 17 years of age, and you give them a couple of $100,000 or the value, the assets of that money, you're actually holding them back. This is what Kobe Bryant learnt later on in life. And he reckoned that giving, just handing out money to family and friends, is not the best way to actually show love for these people. And I mean, everybody needs to show love to their family, to their friends. And he reckoned that it would actually affect their work ethic throughout their lives and actually dumb down, stop their ambition. He reckoned that if you understood as the giver of that money, as the giver of that assets, that you were taking care of them because it made you feel good, well then that's okay. But making you happy is just giving you the smiles, giving you no care in the world, because when you think about that person, you think about your family, your friend, you go, wow, I gave them money, I gave them a start, I gave them a help, great, wonderful. But is it giving them what they need? And he said, quote unquote, while you were feeling satisfied with yourself as the giver, you were slowly eating away at their own dreams and ambitions. You were adding material things to their lives, but subtracting, and here's the beautiful thing, so you're giving them wonderful money, but you're subtracting at the same time the most precious gift of all, which is better than money. And he believed it was independence and growth. Growth, there's that word again. And independence, doing it on your own, growing on your own. Now you're watching this video. You might be watching with others, you might be watching with friends. But you have independent thoughts. And with this life advice from Kobe Bryant, you can independently choose to go and interact in a different way with your future of how you do things. You can do it from a growth mindset. And by doing that, listening to the best, to Kobe Bryant, who's passed through this earth, completely successful, completely a good person, an adored person, that was seen in January 2020 when he passed away. Bryant reckoned that if you recommended helping the people around you by investing in the future rather than actually giving them handouts, it was a better thing. So he did use his financial gain and did help people in that way. Put them through school, he said. Set them up, give them job interviews. Allow them to become leaders in their own right. Grow, let them grow then, independent of you. Help them to help themselves, essentially. Now, he also gave advice to his daughters. And of course, one of them passed away in January 2020. But he was said to have said prior to that, a couple of years prior to that, that, believe it or not, even though he was so well known in the NBA and respected, and he gave advice to others, his daughters didn't actually, listen to his particular wisdom. He told Jimmy Fallon on the Today Show, or no, the Tonight Show, today. Well, tonight is dark, just like behind me, so it's the Tonight Show. Jimmy Fallon was once heard to know that Natalie, the 14-year-old daughter, one of the 3 daughters that Bryant had, and Gianna, who was his 10-year-old daughter at that time, that they would not seek or have use for his advice. He was a 5-time champion and he just laughed it off. His younger daughter said that even though she respected the basketball credentials that her father had, advice, no thank you. But isn't that natural? Isn't that human nature? Just because he's so famous. To them though, he's just their dad. And I know that's crazy to say, but he's just their dad. He is more personal to them than the big man on the screen. He's their dad. But hey, you have a parent too. If you've ever felt that. Oh, why are you giving me advice? Why, you know what? I'm living my own life. I want independence. But that's what Kobe Bryant found. He found that, and when he laughed it off when his daughter said that, probably live on air, to millions, he found that, you know what, basically, you need independence. If you give lots of money to people, it doesn't work. You're stifling their ambition. You're stifling what they need to have themselves, their own dreams. Their own dreams, not your dreams, not your advice, their independence. And that's what you would say or feel towards your parents. Thank you. I'll use that or I won't use that. Thank you for the information, but I will choose to use it or not because I need to be independent of you and of others. I need to be independent. Nothing to do with you. It's not to do with others either. It's just me, how I need to interact with myself and my future and my decision making. But thank you for the information. So Bryant realised this. He had wisdom. And he died at 41. Perhaps that wisdom was beyond his years, because perhaps life worked in a certain way where it was known that he wasn't going to get those years. And it wasn't that great that he was enriched with that wisdom and he could impart it to the public before he passed away. He reckoned that from going straight from high school to the NBA, quote unquote, I want to learn things and how to become the best basketball player in the world. And if I'm going to learn that, I got to learn from the best. Kids go to school to be doctors, he said, or lawyers, so forth and so on. And that's where they study. My place is to study from the best. That's what he said when he was a young man. He also said of basketball, I never looked at basketball as work. I didn't realise it was work until my first year in the NBA. When I came around, I was surrounded by other professionals, and I thought basketball was going to be everything to them, and it wasn't. And I was like, this is different. I thought everybody was so obsessive about the game like me. It was like, no, oh, that's hard work, I get it now. So he learned straight away that the need for hard work, to harness your ability, to harness and work at that opportunity that others have given you, was so important. He also said that when something cannot be accomplished, cannot be done, if you feel that way as a human being, you're shortchanging yourself. Now, if we look finally at his life and all he has achieved, and we think just decades beforehand, a black person in sport was not respected. Even when he died in January 2020, there are sports that still are racist. But he was a black man who was athletic, who went into the NBA at 17 years of age, and he learned that huge thing about, yeah, love is good. Love and passion for your game or for what you're doing, your job or whatever, is good. But you still have to work on it. You still have to put it into its own pocket in life, into its own drawer as such. There are other things in life. And he was best encompassed, I think, with all his advice by saying that don't shortchange yourself in life. And one of the things he went on about planning for the rest of his life, other than basketball, he realised he was finished with basketball as a professional player. Lots of people miss those things as professional actors or players or whatever. But instead, he wanted to be remembered as a fantastic investor rather than an actual great basketballer. Now, that was an interesting thing. But that was coming from that mindset that he had, which is avoid shortchanging ourselves. Now, if that's all we get from this video, to avoid shortchanging ourselves, we are using the 41 years of Kobe Bryant, this wonderful superstar of sport, and we're using it in the most positive ways to put it back into our lives. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already, please do. And remember, don't shortchange yourself. Who'll regret it? Just you. So until next time, thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.